Hello, this is TGC Requiem. Back here with a deck tech. This is going to be Elves. Some people call it BG Elves, but excuse me. I really am actually kind of minimizing. This is mostly mono green Elves. Obviously, Shaman of the pack has black, and we got some sideboard black, but I still think this deck almost is most optimal in mono green, and so that's kind of where I start. However, I have added some Gilt Leaf Palaces, which just increase the odds of us being able to hardcast Shaman. We can also hardcast Shaman off Cavern of Souls. So that gives us 8 sources to get the Shaman out there, but keep in mind we also can Collected Company, and I probably should move these over for viewing purposes. We also have 3 Chord of Calling that we can get them out there with. Looking at other black elves, there really aren't any other black elves, at least that fall into the Collected Company realm, that are really that good, in my opinion. There's a couple other creatures like Shriek Maw that might be alright in a toolbox setting, but again, I couldn't really come up with a ton that was worth it at the Collected Company level, which is really one of the best cards in the deck. So, other than that, this deck is pretty much the same thing you're getting elsewhere. You got your 4 Landware Elves, your 4 Elvish Mystic, your 4 Heritage Druid, your 4 Nettle Sentinels, and that's just to kind of help you get up to the 3 drop as fast as possible and get moving. Essence Warden helps against actually a lot of decks. A lot of people just think burn, but Essence Warden is really good in a lot of matchups. It gets you a lot of life. You can use it to save yourself against the Exarch, Win, and Twin. If you can Chord for it, among other things. But the other thing about it is, again, it's just delaying games long enough sometimes for you to get out your combo. One of the additions here, and of subtractions I should say, is Dwynen's Elite. So Dwynen's Elite, when Dwynen's Elite enters the battlefield, if you control another elf, put a 1/1 green elf creature token onto the battlefield. So this would help ramp up your Elvish Archdruids a little bit faster. It also just becomes another 2/2 with Elvish Archdruid. Post board, maybe we bring an Elvish Champion for a beatdown route against another green style deck. Dwynen Elite's good there. We did remove 1 Elvish Visionary and 1 Spellskite to get the Dwynen's Elite in there. Spellskite, I don't know. I'm always kind of iffy. Sometimes it's really good main board, and sometimes it's just the last thing you want to see. So we're going to cut the Spellskite. We can bring Spellskite in post board. At the 3 drop spot, the big thing here is we added 2 Shaman of the pack, and I actually cut an Essence Warden for one of the Shaman of the pack, and for the other Shaman of the pack, I don't even remember what I cut now. It might have been actually another Essence Warden. I might have had 4 Essence Warden, and I thought that this would allow us to win games faster, and so the life gain was going to be less relevant. But when Shaman of the pack enters the battlefield, target opponent loses life equal to the number of elves you control. So there's going to be times where maybe you hit both of these off of a Collected Company, or you hit a Dwynen's Elite and a Shaman pack off of Collected Company, and even just the 3 of them alone, that's a 3 life drain. The thing I love about Shaman of the pack is sometimes control decks can be a little tough to get the final damage through, and with a Cavern of Souls, that could be the difference. And so I think Shaman of the pack's really good. In fact, I put another one in the board. I still love Craterhoof. I don't know if it's the most optimal, but there are wins I get with Craterhoof that I don't otherwise get, and so I really like it. In the board, Fracturing Gust 2 of is almost a requirement. Spellskite's great. Wormcoil I'm bringing in for the tougher matchups that are like long and grindy. Same thing for Eternal Witness. But Wormcoil kind of for those mid-range matchups. Shaman of the Pack probably mostly for control. Dismember just for when you have to deal with something. Beast Within's kind of the same thing. Beast Within's actually really good against Amulet and sometimes Tron decks. Scavenging Ooze, just a second Scavenging Ooze can be huge. A lot of times there's these games where you just get a bunch of creatures wiped off the board and a Scavenging Ooze comes on, brings you right back into the game. Choke against decks that we expect to run a lot of islands. Wreck Sage, just again when you need to kill artifacts or enchantments. Fracturing Gust, Wreck Sage, and we already have one in the board or in the main. And then Eternal Witness is just good in grindy games. I'd like to get 2 in there. I gotta figure out where to do it. I feel like Leyline of Vitality is the one where I might want to cut, but I also feel like Leyline does a really good job of helping us avoid Anger of the Gods, Pyroclasm type deaths, and that's not always, but when you think of Pyroclasm being the most painful one that we have to deal with, an Elvish Archdruid with a Leyline puts you out of Pyroclasm range. And we also bring Elvish Champion in during those because, again, Elvish Champion gives all creatures +1, elf creatures +1/+1, and Forest Walk. And so Forest Walk also makes him really good against like Jund and Abs and things like that. So this is my newest take on BG Elves. Not a huge change. Again, Dwynen's Elite, Shaman of the Pack, pretty much the only new cards. And we added Guiltleaf Palace in place of some forests. But we're not going with Thoughtseize or Abrupt Decay or Golgari Charm, which are really good cards and I think would be good for the deck, but you would have to go with probably 4, not necessarily 4, but probably 4 Overgrown Tomb. And not to say that that is not at all worthwhile. I just don't know that the life loss is worth it when you start thinking about putting in those Overgrown Tombs. So, anywho, that is the Elves deck tech, and we'll get some matches in here with it.